Hi, and welcome to VFX Tutors. I'm Josh, and in this tutorial we're going to create a set scan, remodel and reproject the textures to get it ready to be used in your VFX work. In this tutorial I'm going to be using Agisoft Metashape, but you can use Mesh if you want, or any other photogrammetry software. I prefer to use Metashape just because it's my preferred software, but you should be able to get the same results from any other one. So got Metashape open now, and if you haven't used this before, it's a fairly simple piece of software to use. It lays out everything that you need to know in this workflow list here, so you just work through these four and you can't really go wrong. Like I say, the hardest thing with photogrammetry is probably taking the photos. So I'm just going to click on these three little boxes with the plus sign, and I'm going to navigate to my file, so it's set scans for photogrammetry. And if we look through, we can see we've got all these images here. So I'm just going to select them all and select open. And now it should start filling up this window here with all our images. And this is the sort of stuff that if you can do this with your phone. I've done this with my DSLR, but like I said, you can still use your phone. It may not be the best quality, but it will still give you some pretty good results. So yeah, you can pretty much use anything as long as the resolution's okay and they're clear photos. So we could double click on these. You can see now we can look at our images. Even these images are not the best quality, but there's enough detail in them. And you can sort of see how I've taken these images, sort of starting at one end, then sort of walking down and doing this sort of sideways movement. This is quite important. This is quite a good method of capturing your scans. Cool. So we've got all our images, and like I say, Metashape's quite an easy piece of software to use. So if you go to your workflow, basically you just have to follow these 4 steps, and you can only click on them once they're done. So the only one you can actually choose is align photos. And for something like this, so if I'm going to go through these, you've got general settings, and you can put it to your highest, or we can try it on highest. It doesn't always make such a huge difference. It just you can get the same sort of. It really depends on how your photos are taken, to be honest. I'm going to leave it on medium because I want this to go through quite quickly, and I'm only using this for tracking using for set scans. So I don't need like super high res detail. I just need the shapes and just to be able to project the textures back on. And if you open up your advanced, you have your tie point and your key point limit, and we can leave this as it is. Then all we need to do is select OK. Now it's going to start going through all the images, detecting points as it says there, finding matching points and your tie points and your key points in each image. And it's going to, after it's done this, it should start estimating camera locations. And this may take a while, so it should give you an estimate time around here. And you can see on each of these photos, you can see how quick it's going through. It's finding like 29,000 points on each of these photos, and it's ranging. So once it's detected points, it will sort of give you an estimate. We don't need that. This might take a while. Let's see how long it says when the matching points are done. Then if it takes quite a while, we'll fast forward through it. Cool, so that's done now. That didn't take too long. And we can just select this gizmo in the middle, and we can sort of see now we've got a low res point cloud. This is just our alignment point cloud. So basically a rule of thumb. If your thing that you're scanning looks like it is at this stage, you're probably going to have a good time. If it looks all messed up and cameras are sort of everywhere, you might want to go back and have a look how your image is taken. But you can sort of see how I've taken mine here. They're not super organized. I probably could have done some around here as well. So I've gone like across this way and across that way and tried to get as many angles. Because I know when I was filming for this area, the whole area I was filming was basically, I don't think it didn't go any further than these two bollards, so it was all within this parking space. So I've got more than enough scan, so I didn't need to scan the whole car park. I only need to scan the area that I need, and plus a little bit extra is nice. So you don't want to be like going filming for a small space, then thinking that you need to scan a whole car park. You only need the areas that you really need. Cool, so we're pretty much done at that stage. So our next step is literally just go through the workflow, then build dense cloud. And I'm not going to build a high one because I don't really need it, because this is like flat concrete and I'm not doing it for textures, I'm just doing it for positions. So I'm actually going to change this to medium. And you have your advanced here, and we can leave this as it is and just select OK. So this is going to go through creating our dense point cloud. Like I say, this Metashape is really simple, and if you're using Mesh-Rune, it's probably even simpler. You just load them in and just let it do its thing and come back. But I do prefer Metashape because it has some slightly better tools, I think. So it's going to go through loading the photos again for the depth maps. And this is probably going to go through too fast to even read, so we can just close that. So it's going to go through and generate the depth maps first. And this might take a little bit of time. The depth maps usually take quite a while, so I'll probably fast forward through this again. Cool, so that's now finally processed. As you can see, we can't really see anything at the moment, so we need to go up to the top here, and we can view our dense point cloud now. So now we're just looking at our point mesh, and you can see it's done a pretty good job just on the medium. We don't really need any more high-res mesh on anything else. We can pretty much work from what we have. So you probably want to save this so you don't have to do all that again. So I'm just going to save it. O2. Then your next step, all you have to do is go workflow and build mesh. And now this will slowly go through building the mesh. And it will open up this window first, sorry. And if you open this, you get a choice whether if you want to do it from your dense cloud, depth maps, or sparse cloud. We're going to use our dense cloud, and we're going to leave everything as it is. And you can change your face count if you want. I'm just going to leave it on high for now. And you've got advanced here, which don't really ever really need to change. So I'm just going to select OK, and that's going to start processing through that. So this may take a little bit of time, so I'll probably fast forward through this. So that's finally processed, and all we need to do is go to this little pyramid here, and you'll have model shaded, model wireframe. So if we just go, we can go through all of them. So you can see the model wireframe, and you can see it's made quite a high-res mesh. We go to model solid. You can see we don't really have much detail at the top, but let's not worry too much about that. our main focus was to get this sort of area here. Then we go to model shaded. So this isn't actually shaded, this is just the vertex colors. So now what we can do, we can just go to workflow, build texture. And we can leave this all as standard. I'm going to leave it as 4K because we don't really need a high res texture for this now. So I'm just going to select OK and start processing that. And hopefully that shouldn't take too long. Of course, that's now finally done. So if we go up to here, we can now go to our model textured, and you should notice a difference. Now we have a texture map on our geometry. So as for actually processing the scan, we're actually pretty much done. We're not worried about this side because we're just going to focus on doing a small area of the scan. So if you want to save that. Then now we need to export this out to our 3D software. So I'm going to be exporting this out to Maya, but you can use any 3D software. It doesn't particularly matter as long as you can model and import. Basically, it should be fine. So I'm just going to go File, Export, and Export Model, and I'm just going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it Export. I'm just going to call this car park year 1. And now it will give us an option to export out different things like vertex normals and what type of file that we want for our texture. And you can include a comment if you want. You can scan. And we can use, we don't worry about this because we won't have it at the moment. So we're just going to select OK. And this is going to export our model. It may take a little bit of time depending on how dense your model is. But once this is done, we're done with the first stage in Metashape. Our next step is to bring this into Maya, orientate and scale it, and then model around it, create UVs, then bring it back and reproject them on, and we should be done. So we're pretty much done for the first part of this. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, it's been a fairly quick one. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, hit that like button and subscribe for more like this.